Sumus hic in morte, nostia sanctus est. We are here in death, it is our saint. The markers in the twisted world of Dead Space are another piece of a far larger puzzle. In the words of Wright Bagwell, the characters of the games often find themselves confused about their properties, origins, and their purpose in this dark and gritty universe. In this video, we'll be delving into the lore of the markers, shedding light on their purpose, properties, and which of the two entities are really in control, the moons or the markers. Let's begin. Three types of markers are known to have existed in Dead Space. The black marker, of which has a black solid hue skin with lighter shaded symbols plastering the body. The red markers are of a similar design, with the notable difference being the reddish hue, and the gold marker with a yellowish gold appearance. Despite the different colors and various sizes, all markers contain the same properties and purpose. Regardless of origin, the markers all emit an energy signature that can cause insomnia, which would lead into depression, which in turn leads into the immune system becoming weaker and weaker. All of this combined would cause the affected to become irritable very easily, highly aggressive, and even causes self-harm to occur. In most living beings, the marker signal will cause a case of dementia to manifest itself into the person's mind, making them see things and people that aren't alive anymore. These apparitions are connected to the marker, often pushing people into committing homicidal and suicidal actions, setting the stage for the eventual hostile takeover, or a necromorph outbreak. Those who possess low intelligence or even average IQ points would succumb to the signal, hearing only noise however, which turns them insane and eventually causes them to go into a psychosis episode where they will attack anything and anyone around them. If the person is to be highly intelligent, then the marker symbols will translate to a code that, when used correctly, will allow the affected to build more markers. The side effect to gaining this disturbing gift, however, is that the marker signal will self-replicate inside the mind of the affected person. So no matter how far away the person is from a marker, they can still be contacted by them. The markers will most of the time manipulate those affected by the signal into completing tasks that will further their agenda. The signal can also disturb machines, computers, and other electronic devices, such as the rig, audio, and video logs, causing them to glitch out. Other times, symbols can be seen in transmissions, which would be another symptom of dementia. The signal possesses another property, however. If the signal was to locate dead biomass, such as a dead body, it will reanimate the flesh. It does this by using the electromagnetic energy to radiate the cells, kick-starting them back into life. There, the marker will change the cells with the necromorph genetic code that is present inside the signal, eventually creating a necromorph. However, depending on how long the corpse has been left there, the transformation process can happen over hours and up to days. The necromorph structure is also sustained by the marker's carrier wave signal. If the signal were to be disrupted or the marker destroyed, then the necromorph tissue would turn into biomass in the form of inanimate sludge containing the DNA of the species combined. However, the marker also possesses a defense mechanism, that being the dormancy field, which disrupts the signal. If a necromorph were to get too close to the marker, the body would go limp and the necromorph immobilized. However, the dormancy field also plays a key role in convergence. The marker, when going through a state change such as environmental changes, activation or convergence, priming will unleash an electromagnetic pulse that will shut down any and all electronic devices, such as communications, rigs, and gravity stabilizes. The symbols that are plastered across a marker's skin is a genetic code. When translated into a scientific equation, it will allow those to create pure necromorph tissue, most notably called the recombinant lifeform, which is in fact a piece of the corruption found throughout the media. As they both share the same properties, these both can recombinate dead tissues, flesh, and cells into necrotized ones, and they also grow at an alarming rate that also possesses a healing factor. Another property would be of its gravitational ability, which had allowed the shards of Marker 3A to keep Aegis 7 intact after the destruction of the colony. The ultimate goal of the markers is to commit convergence, which is to create a brethren moon. It does this by either being a byproduct of an outbreak or being the direct cause of it. Once enough biomass has been collected, call to base will occur, commanding all necromorphs to retreat to the marker's location. Once this has been completed, the marker will initiate convergence, using its gravitational properties to pull the corpses into the air around it. Then the marker will fuse with the necromorphs, along with anything the corruption clings to, creating a brethren moon. Some believe that the marker has intent to create a delusion inside of ones that discover it, to create a religion. However, the folly of unitology wasn't of marker design, but of our own. The marker has a tendency to lie and manipulate its way into getting what it wants, or what it needs. Once a civilization has been cleansed of its initial race and convergence has finalized with the creation of a brethren moon, the moon of flesh will send the other markers into deep space. Once it has reached a planet, it will begin to change the landscape into one that will allow evolution to take over. In our case, it was changing the environment of rainforests in Africa into a savanna. From there, the apes had turned into the early stages of humanity, and we would continue growing until our species had become the dominant species on the planet. From here, the humans would exhaust the resources on Earth, forcing them to seek out new worlds. This is where the marker will use its gravitational and electromagnetic abilities once again, as if calling for help. The natives would investigate only to find that they had found something ancient. The marker would then use its signal to install insomnia and dementia, which would turn into depression, weakening the human immune system. This is what I call the decline of society. With the population becoming restless, some would go insane, others would fall into hyper-aggression, and most would become obsessed with the symbols, either in creating more markers or in creating the pure necromorph tissue. This would begin the first stage of a necromorph outbreak, with corruption filling the nearby areas, either from the pure corruption or from fresh corpses. Eventually, a necromorph outbreak would occur, and the population would decline rapidly. The corruption would begin spreading, creating habitats and supporting the necromorphs by closing off areas of access. Once enough biomass had been collected, however, the final stage would begin with the necromorphs returning to the marker, encircling the monolith, and convergence would begin. Once the creation was over and a brethren moon born, the process would start over, creating an endless loop. The markers are a terrifying pill to swallow, as think about it. In the comics, things get worse and worse, but none of the managers believe that the markers are to blame for these occurrences of poor mental health. Another point here is that they are very hard to disrupt or to destroy, as conventional weapons and tools do not even make a scratch on them. The only ways to completely destroy one is under extreme measures, such as the ending to Dead Space with the continental mass, or an entire station exploding in Dead Space 2. So which of the two are really in control? Well, the the lore does point to the Brethren Moons being the puppeteers of the markers, as they are fused beings with extraordinary abilities all heightened. But then again, I don't see the Brethren Moons to be the markers' origin. So here is my opinion. The moons and the markers are two sides of the same coin. The marker is half conscious, and once convergence births a new brother, it has been made whole, so now it is 100% there. So I believe that the markers are really in control of their own destiny, and not the Brethren Moons. To think that the end of days can be conjured up so easily, and by something that isn't so easily destroyed, is very frightening indeed. That something can fall out of the sky and create an unimaginable nightmare is one thing to be very afraid of. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, then give the video a like rating. Tell me what you thought below in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you to all of my channel members for your extra support, which I greatly admire. And if you would like to gain extra benefits or exclusive rewards, then hit the join button now to see the 2 available tiers and see what takes your fancy. Sign up to join the British Alliance today by hitting the subscribe button and ringing in the notification bell to receive all updates to the channel. And I will see all of you among the cosmos, and be sure to have a good one.